Okay, so today we are joined by someone actually who spent over 30 years doing personal development and known as the serial intellect, Michael, by the way. And then, so basically, he turned his journey and growth into a mentorship where he's actually taking what he's learned to help people become the best version of themselves. And basically how to solve problem, real life versus virtually, personally, professionally, and to create tools that they can use to become very successful.
Yeah.
So ladies and gentlemen, my name is Justin with Golden Touch Motivational, and let me introduce you the serial intellect, Michael.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
So you and I had a previous conversation about a lot of stuff going on, and then you mentioned that you've begun the journey of this personal development over 30 years ago. And we're talking about back in the 90s. So my question to you is, what was your most challenging ways as far as accessing resources to allow you to hop onto this journey?
Yeah, well, it's been said 1,000 times, and you know this, that, you look at the amount of resources that are available today that are absolutely free. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go into debt for, qualify for, to be a Division I athlete for. It's amazing. So as you know, back then, it was kind of like there were some books, and then there wasn't a lot of like coaching and conferences, and so my story's simple. I find myself in college on probation. I had a 1.9 GPA, and the school said, if you get anything lower than a C, we're going to kick you out. And my first quiz in political studies, I got a D. And everyone left, and I'm crying in the classroom, and my professor, Dr. Greg Frazier, walked over to me and said, well, what's going on? I said, well, I failed the test and we get kicked out. Short story, he brings me in his office and he says, you're not going to fail. He said, your problem is you don't know how to read. I said, what do you mean I don't know how to read? He goes, you know how to read words, but you don't know how to read with comprehension. Yeah, so he said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some tools and I'm going to develop this skill set and teach you how to do this. I'm going to make you into a thinker. And at that moment, I said to myself, I wonder if this is possible. But if it is, I ended up graduating with a 3.6.
Wow, that's awesome.
And that has such a big impact on my life. And so I thought, I want to do this for other people. I want to help other people.
That's
just
awesome.
Like this.
What was the most frustrating part throughout that journey?
So the frustrating part was I wanted to be better. I wanted to solve my problems. I was trying to fix my stuff. But as I said before, in order to get results, you need skill sets. And skill sets come from mastery of tools. That's a transcendent, universal reality. Doesn't matter what you're talking about, whether it's relational, you could be, if you want to be a dentist, you got to learn how to use the tools, skill sets. You want to play football, it's transcendent. And the thing is that they weren't accessible. And so that's one of my passions, as you know, is sometimes we have tools and skill sets, but they're not accessible to people.
Absolutely.
And I just believe that certain things should be accessible to everyone. And when it comes to personal development, people should have access to tools and skill sets in order to get the results that they want.
Hey, I concur. I couldn't say it any better. Now, as you mentioned through this journey, Michael, you had mentors that helped you. What was the importance of that mentorship?
Yeah. It's interesting. I was thinking about our time this morning, and I write all the time, and every day. And one of the things I thought about is there's only two ways to acquire results in your life. You got to get a skill set, which comes from a tool. So you can either pay for it with time by yourself, which is definitely going to cost you more money and time, figuring this out over the course of many painstaking years, or you can get somebody like a mentor who already knows how to use the tools and already has a skill set and is willing to sit down with you and show you, this is how you use this, this is how you develop this, and this is the result you're going to get. I would not be here today. There's no way I have written 10 books, 8 in the last year, developed 10 personal development tools, all original. I think the last thing I was going to say is we probably won't know the sociological impact or consequences of what's happening in culture right now for probably another 40 or 50 years. One, because it's going to take us that long to actually capture all the data and look back and see it, right? We know the World War II generation really well. Well, yeah, but we're, 80 years removed?
Yeah.
We can study it, right? But the other thing is, what's the incentive for us to know the impact of social media? Because what if we find out that it's not just bad, but it's absolutely terrible?
Yeah.
Well, that has a fiscal impact. And who wouldn't want us to know that?
Benefit from it.
Exactly. So there's no incentive to do deep dives on the impact of technology on our anthropology, on our sociological experiences, because that could mean some kind of reduction of finance.
Of revenue.
We're not doing
It's
that.
it's taboo.
No.
Well, it's all connected. It's like the medical system.
Yes.
There are certain illnesses they just want it to be around, so they can keep prescribing prescription.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was funny. It's like one of my mentors was saying, man, it's amazing how people are depressed, go to a psychiatrist, they get prescribed a depression medication, they take it when they're still depressed.
Yes.
But they keep that cycle.
Yes.
And one of the side effects of this medication is suicide.
Yes. It's crazy.
And then we keep doing it.
Yes.
Versus not realizing it's a mindset. It's your
Yeah.
perception about things that actually makes you depressed. Because you're
Right.
trying to control things you have no control over.
Yes. Well, you just think about how most doctors are trained. That's not to say there aren't good doctors.
Right.
But the training that doctors receive is not necessarily remedial. It's not to fix a problem per se. Because the pharmaceutical industry has something called a DSM,
Right.
Diagnostic Statistical Manual.
Right.
And it's grown. It used to be this big.
Right.
Now it's like that big.
Right.
And who writes that?
That's,
They do.
Absolutely.
So they're saying, this is the problem, and we have the solution.
Yep.
That's dangerous. And so what they're saying, hey, every problem you have, we have a solution. It's called a pill.
Yep. So
Right.
keep the problems coming.
And so, again, and so you're not really trained. Well, is there another way to heal us? I mean, what did they do 50 years ago?
Right.
What did they do 100 years ago?
Yeah, that's right.
What did they do 30 years ago?
Absolutely.
It's like we've had this complete escalation sociologically on all these things.
Right.
Now, if this was, I dare to say it, if this was COVID, we'd be like, oh, this is exactly what it is, and blah, 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 blah. But I think because there's such a hint at
Right.
what it might be, the impact of the
Right.
shifts of our sociology due to social media, that can be very problematic.
Absolutely. That's what I say. That's why I say the system is designed to treat the effect
Yes.
of the cause.
Exactly.
Where we can
100%.
go back in time and say, what's causing this?
Yes.
Because I went to med school for 2 years, switched my major, because I'm like, the medical system is broken.
Yes, because this is what I'm seeing, and I kind of reverses. I'm like, there's a better way to do it.
Yeah.
And it's just, and the doctors have nothing to just the system.
No, that's how they're trained.
And it's just amazing. And it's just very direct. So, but that's actually a very nice topic there.